There was a goodnight kiss.
Ah.
It was brief, but it was nice. It was wet. It was a good
wow.
kiss.
Do you have a drink idea?
We are going full tiki.
Full tiki.
I got some tropical fruits here, so we'll figure it out.
Okay. So Lisa, tell me your story.
It was an internet date story, you know? There was sort of an immediate attraction to this gentleman. He was successful and attractive and classy and clearly intelligent by his emails and conversations. So so it all looked good.
I guess the meeting part is what happens, right?
Well, this particular gentleman had a big travel schedule. So we decided that we could either have a short date sooner or a longer date later.
Okay.
And being, all anxious to meet one another, we opted for the short date, which was like an hour
Okay.
before he had to run home and pack and leave for, parts unknown.
Right.
Unfortunately, I was getting my hair done just prior to the date, not for the date, just coincidentally. And my hairdresser, who I love dearly, runs late frequently. So I actually ended up having a 20-minute date with this guy.
He sat there and waited for you?
He waited for me.
Wow.
With
This is a good guy.
Yeah.
When you see him,
as good looking as his photo.
oh.
Usually these profile pictures are from 20 years before.
We're hearing a lot of that, right?
I just don't understand. How are you not going to find out?
And you say, excuse me, but when you drove to meet me, did you happen to detour through a time machine?
Or something.
Yes.
So we had this lovely 20-minute date in which I guzzled a glass of wine.
And how did your hair look, by the way?
Fabulous.
Okay, good.
Absolutely fabulous.
Yes. So then he has to rush off.
He
I
has
must
to
rush
rush
the
off.
road.
It's
Yes.
like Casablanca. He's going away.
Yes.
And so we said goodbye. There was a goodnight kiss.
Ah.
It was brief, but it was nice. It was wet. It was a good
wow.
kiss. A good
So
kiss.
this is fantastic. I like this.
All things
as good
are
as his
going
profile.
well.
Yes. So what happens?
I decided to Google him and to find out what I could.
Yes.
Now, all I knew was that he was in some area of finance and that he liked to play polo.
Oh.
That means dosh, actually.
Absolutely.
That means moolah.
Do you want me to try and get his number for you? So he plays polo.
I did my research. I went on Google and I came up with some bizarre polo bulletin board where he was mentioned, and somebody asked the question, do you know if he's still riding the ponies? And the answer that was posted just below that was, not unless they're playing polo in jail. So
Hey.
red flag.
Okay. When he was traveling, perhaps it was upriver for a while. Okay. Yeah.
Who knows what he was
I
doing
have
on
to
his
go.
travels.
Yes.
Yeah,
I have my travel agent, who also happened to be working for the FBI, waiting for me.
Right.
Are you thinking maybe there's a different
Of
guy?
of course, because I'm still clinging on to this really good date, you
Yes.
know? So I kept doing the research, and I found a press release from the Department of Justice.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether I like Google or hate it, you know.
Depends what you're hiding, Simon.
But actually, there's a famous football player in England called Simon Ford. So if you get to page like 362, you might find me.
Right, which is where the police blotter is.
Exactly.
So that's it. You never hear from him. You never talk to him again. You never.
No, actually, he wrote me and let me know when he was coming back and said, I'd love to get together with you. And I had to write the email after much consideration saying, I did my little due diligence online, and I think you know what I found. So as much as I'd like to say that it doesn't matter, it does, you know, and it kills me because you're the most debonair man I've met in a long time. And that was it. I never heard from him again. No defense, no
Shame.
Well, what's he going to
nothing.
defend, though? He's guilty.
Well, fight for me, man. Say, hey, it
Oh,
doesn't
you wanted
matter.
to say, listen, I'm sorry, when I was committing this crime, I didn't know you were in my future.
Exactly.
Okay, a
Something.
very romantic notion.
Did we ever find out what he did?
Some kind of borrowing of social security numbers for filing of bankruptcy.
That's but just borrowing of social security numbers. That's not really a
Exactly.
crime. That's borrowing.
I mean, it's not the worst thing. It's
Yeah.
not like
By the way,
murder or
why not cut out the
something.
middleman? Go right to jail and try and meet a man.
I think my dating pool has to be a little higher than that.
Okay. Well, at least you know they're home at night.
Here we go. Smooth Criminal. There we go. And Tom, for you, a dark and stormy.
Thank you, Simon.
It's guy's looking a bit like you, actually.
Maybe profile. I can see it.
Thank you. Cheers
Yes.
to you.
Well, hopefully you'll find a charming guy without a police record, right? Or at least maybe just a lot of parking violations or something that is easier to explain. That is a killer glass, Simon. Can you lend it to me for 10 years? I'd like to borrow it along with your social security number.